Alright, so recently I finished playing through Sifu. Got some pre-recorded footage in the background here of when I was first starting the challenge mode, which I guess is a good place to start. Because honestly, it was a very pleasant surprise. I'm normally not someone who gets really into different challenge modes in games like this, but I feel like just a great combination of many different things, such as the aging up when you die mechanic, a good balance of fresh and familiar environments for the challenges, fun and unique objectives and modifiers, which I didn't really mess around with in the campaign because I feel like you needed the currency from the challenge mode in order to unlock a good total number of them. My favorite challenge type was probably the King of the Hill-esque capture the zone ones. I thought it was interesting because I felt like the CPUs weren't really aware, I guess, that they were supposed to be in the marked zone to halt my progress. Because there was a few times I noticed one just kind of sitting right outside the marked area. I mean, I don't know what's going on in the background. Maybe they were planning some great attack that was worth allowing me to capture the area quicker. So they had the proper space or something for it. I don't know. But it just kind of led to an interesting, unique feeling balance of, do I focus on knocking this enemy out that's low on health, or do I try to knock a few of these other opponents out of the designated area and hope they're not the brightest towards re-entering the area? And if that is the case too, it's not really a big deal because the CPUs are obviously going to target you and you're going to be in that area, so it's not like a major issue in case you were worried it would get too easy or something. But it did almost have me wonder, though, and I'm not someone who really plays multiplayer, like, at all, really, but I can almost picture, like, a really cool mode where you throw a handful of people onto, maybe a little bit bigger of a map with the marked zones, and maybe you have to manage some subordinates and have to pick, between a couple weaker ones or a more powerful one, and whether you want them to sort of try to go after an area on their own or to back you up with what you're trying to do, especially when you go up against other players. Like I could picture this being really fun, honestly. And I can't think of anything too much like it, I guess. The closest thing right off the top of my head is the Muso Warriors games, although the combat in those games is vastly different than it is here. And even then, I think some of them have multiplayer modes, but that's not really what they're as well known for, I feel like. I will say, I actually got this game, like, fairly early on, but I was always a little intimidated by it, I guess. I heard it was, pretty difficult, and as you can probably tell by the gameplay you're seeing, I'm not really the best, but I don't know. I really liked the art direction, the premise and gimmick they had with the aging seemed kind of unique and fun, like something I wanted to try to experience. And in general, I am a fan of, just melee combat focused games. The animations too that you see that I was, looking at too were pretty cool too. And there's like a lot of different mechanics and things you can do, but I kind of got it down to where like I wasn't even really using a fraction of some of them. But I don't know, my playstyle, you could probably tell, it kind of reminds me of Arkham, kind of a more offensive but counter when you need to esque style. And hell, when you get a good combo and rhythm going, it feels so damn good. Definitely a feeling that reminded me of when I had that same exact feeling in the Arkham games that, I don't know, I don't feel like I've really experienced to this degree since playing those games a while ago. And I was able to hold my own better than I would have thought too. Like with challenge mode in particular, which I didn't have any difficulty selections, I think. So I think it's just the same base difficulty for everyone. I made it, like, I think the first one I didn't unlock was the one you needed 60 medals for. I think I had 58 at the end of it. It's kind of a shame because even if, I was about to get my ass handed to me and, the challenges I didn't unlock, I was kind of hoping to find a save file somewhere so I can at least try them out, or even a cheat code or something so I can experience everything. Unfortunately, like, I don't know, it was just a little complicated because I think the challenge mode may have been added later on, or at least parts of it were. So I think the save files I did find were for older versions, and sometimes with that too, you don't know how. I'm playing on Steam, but most of the time it's not really locked down or anything, but sometimes it might be tied down to the account and not work. Once again, I just kind of wanted that experience to last. So many challenges. I don't want to just watch a video of it, even if it turns out ugly. So I guess that's a minor disappointment to me. I did go through the campaign on student difficulty because, like I said, I'm not that good, and I don't really care about overly challenging myself, especially when the game already has a challenging reputation. But I will say I feel like it takes a lot for a game to convince me to look forward to repeating myself by needing to redo certain levels or sections or to grind at all. You need to have, a really great game or idea for it to, work well with me. And this is one of the games that had exactly that. I also feel like this was one of the first games that I really noticed my improvement during playing it. Now, like I said, I'm still not that very good. Yeah, not sure why it took me so long to press start on that mission. Maybe because I think this is the one where there was like a glitch where it gave me a couple achievements I didn't actually earn for some reason. I don't know. I saw some other posts of other people having the same issue. I don't really know what happened. But yeah, you'll see at the end of I think it's this mission. Maybe it's one of the next ones. But I'm pretty sure it's soon. I'm pretty sure I got it on the footage. One of the few glitches I had, I think it may have crashed once. I could be wrong about that, though. Might be thinking of something else, but yeah, no, a really smooth experience 99% of the time. But yeah, like I was saying, I'm not good, but I'm definitely better than I was when I first started playing the game. Oh yeah, I think I get my ass really handed to me specifically on this mission, so it's kind of ironic talking about that now even. But yeah, I eventually made it through student mode fine. I do wonder what, the next level of difficulty, how far I could have made it with my current play style, but I've kind of had my fill of the campaign mode, honestly. I'll dive into why a little more later, but between, like I said, actually improving, between finding different shortcuts to use on another playthrough through a level, to even just trying a different build using different of the limited shrine upgrade abilities, and then seeing that progress. Like, it was super rewarding. Like, I particularly mentioned the second level because I just remember feeling, really rewarded when, I think my first playthrough, I ended the level at age 35, 15 deaths or whatever. My second playthrough, I was still age 25 going into level 3. And the length of the game is like a positive for that too, because it's only 5 levels. I feel like it's almost the perfect length for what it is. Like, another playthrough isn't like a huge investment, but I still feel like it's enough of one, especially when you factor in, everything else. There's the achievements. I don't know what happened. Like I said, ironic it comes after my first failed mission, but like I said, the game felt long enough, especially with challenge mode and just some of the other things, to where for me it at least felt well worth the money, not too short for the investment, I guess. I do have two very minor complaints about the campaign mode, and these might just be more personal issues of me being stupid or just not good. But the first thing is that I wish the ability to spare the bosses had, like, I don't know, a better hint, or was a little more obvious, because I wouldn't have even known if I didn't just kind of look through the achievements at one point to see if there was any fun challenges to try. And I don't know, when I looked it up, I mean, yeah, it's kind of obvious, I guess, once you hear it. But I don't know, because at that point, I wound up, because I wanted to, try it for myself, get, the different endings and that for all the boss fights and the game and overall. But like I kind of said earlier, because, that's like 3 times playing through the levels, because I already played through them, a second time, even a third time in some cases to get some collectibles. And, the second time to, finally beat the game and go into the last level with a, better shot, since I went in initially pretty old. But like I said, at the end, I was just kind of ready for the campaign to be over, which is once again why I didn't feel like trying the other difficulty, even though I am a little curious. So yeah, I feel like that kind of negatively impacted my experience very, very slightly. Thought it was worth noting. The other thing is that I felt like, maybe this is just me again, but the wording for what happens if you go back to a previous mission in the middle of a run, like what the exact effects of that were, kind of confusing. I couldn't really tell. Like, basically, I thought it should, but I wasn't really 100% sure. Without looking it up, which I for some reason never did, tell if I was going to lose, my new age record for, starting the next mission in line. Like, I particularly remember beating the 4th level, and I got some more collectibles that allowed me to finish up collectibles on the 2nd level. I think I was age like 40 some, so that was, a pretty good cushion for the last level. And I didn't want to have to lose that and redo the 3rd and 4th level if, I go back to the 2nd level and I go back to the final level and I'm, in my 60s again with, not good odds in my favor. But I wound up just going in, clearing it, and then I didn't really care because, I knew I was at an age I can clear all the level at. I don't know how they could have, made that more clear. Maybe if they show, a set starting age or something. Or if they even let you select all the different starting ages you had during your different runs for all the different levels, even. Or they at least, I don't know, showed it more on the menu, I guess. I don't know. Because I remember it was still showing, because I didn't clear the level, that my best age going in was that 60 some and not the new one I would have had at that current time from, my progress with the previous levels. So that was a little weird, but no big deal, like I said. Overall, it wound up actually being, ironically, a really good time to play the game, because literally it was like a day or two into me playing that there was the secret level show airing. I don't know what it's on. I haven't watched any of it or was really paying attention, but I thought it was funny because there was like a notice, and I forget if there was an update right away or within a couple days of them adding content from that game. Like I said, right when I started, and actually right about when I was ending, it wound up being one of the free games that Epic was giving away over the holidays. So, like I said, hopefully many other people like myself had, fun playing this one recently. And like I said, if you're like me and you were hesitant because you thought, you're just gonna get your ass handed to you and you weren't sure, if the time and frustration would have been worth the entry, I think it's relatively fair. and hopefully you can, I don't know, maybe even judge based on my low skill level you've seen with the gameplay. Some of the challenges are, tougher than you would have seen in the campaign. I feel like on student difficulty, hopefully you can, at least like I made it, make it to the last boss. The bosses are the really tough thing. I feel like they're fun though, especially when you finally get it down. And yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing what. I don't know much about the studio actually. I didn't really look them up or anything, so I'm curious to see if they have any more interesting games or anything in the pipeline. This went pretty good, so odds are there'll eventually be something else from them, regardless if it's a sequel to this or not. Which I can go either way. This was fun, but I am curious as to what other unique ideas they may have for gameplay mechanics and that, like they had on this one. They may also have in mind.